Good morning, awesome people. I'm in Kisumu Karateng. It's a perfect morning in terms of weather and all that. It's the day after Christmas, and I'm at my grandmother's home. This is my grandparents' home, and I'm here right underneath this mango tree right here. I don't know if you can see, but it is mango season, and one of the nice things about living here is that, especially in the morning or after rain, we come down here and then we walk around and pick very fresh mangoes that have just fallen because I don't have the ability to climb these things anymore. We used to do that when I was still a Gen Z, but no, I don't climb these things anymore. So I come in the morning or after rain and then pick just mangoes. But as I do that, I want to talk with you talk with you about why I no longer inherit relatives. I'll explain what I mean, but let me show you what this looks like. See, like right here, these are two fresh maembe dodo. We call them maembe dodo. Very, very tasty. Very, very tasty. Yeah, very, very tasty mangoes. So I'm going to pick a couple of them and then head out to my place. This is my grandparents' home. They are all deceased, and so this is basically called a gonda, meaning a place where nobody lives. So these are things that we used to do a long time ago as kids. So I'm gonna pick as many as I can, take them to my house, clean them, eat, and relax. But let's talk about the issue of inheriting relatives and why I made the personal decision to no longer do that. So come with me, let's talk in a few minutes. All right, guys, look who's here. Why are you hiding? Look who's here. My supervisors are finally with me. Mama, they gotta see you. They're trying to see you. Come here. Come say hi to them. Can you tell them to subscribe?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, guys. So my supervisors are finally here in the village with me. We're going to have some good time with them. And she's hiding with crazy hair. She just heard me recording, and they're taking out the Long Beach hair, coming to do the Karateng version of it. You'll see it in 2 days how she'll be shining. Mama, can you tell them to subscribe again?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, say we need you to add your name here. Okay, Mama, come on, come talk to them. Yeah. Mama,
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
nyinginga. Okay, nyinginga.
Nya Kandi Akini Obelo.
Okay. All right, folks. That's it for the supervisor. So, friends, I was gonna film outside, but my neighbor next door is cutting a tree, and so the power saw is making a lot of noise. So anyway, friends, if you are joining my channel for the first time, I'm Monodidi, a Kenyan American who is doing everything possible to move to the village. And in doing so, I share some of the lessons I've learned. I help people move from outside Kenya to Kenya. We build things like the structure you see me in here. I've got contractors, designers, architects, and things like that. So if you need help, my number is right here. But yes, as I told you folks, I've already watched it. This is called maembe dodo. And these things are incredible. And by the way, in the village, nobody plants these kinds of mangoes. There's others that we plant, but these ones just grow wild. For the most part, they fall, we eat, and then we throw the seeds. And then they just grow wherever and however. There's no formula to it. I promise you, there is nothing, no kind of mango that tastes like this maembe dodo that is just ripe, that falls on its own, straight from the tree. This thing is incredible fresh. So those are some of the joys we have in the village. It's not been an easy couple of weeks for those who've been watching my channel. You already know what I've been dealing with, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So, as I mentioned earlier, today I just want to speak with you about why I don't inherit relatives anymore. And by inheriting relatives, I mean many of us, whether you're African or not, we are born into families. And when we are born, we are told you are related to this person, to that person, you have a cousin, you have a niece, you have a nephew, you have this, uncles, and all that stuff. That's just human. Nothing African about it. In fact, what is distinctly African, or maybe what is distinctly my community, is that because of the tight-knit nature of our families, we don't even have words for things like cousins, nephew, nieces, uncles. In fact, in my culture, the word uncle is only used to mean your mother's brother. Your mother's sisters are your mothers, and your father's siblings are your parents. So we have father number one, number two, and that's how our society is really tied. Now, that system has worked for generations. I can't even count how many, and we love it. It's got some positive to it. But unfortunately, this sense of inherited relatives can also come with significant burdens. And here's what I mean. In the village, and you may forget this, when you live outside, you may forget this. We are raised to engage with family differently in the sense that even when people make mistakes, incredible mistakes, we are going to excuse those mistakes. Sometimes even cover up those mistakes. For instance, I know people in my life, not in my family. I know people in my lives who have gone through sexual assault, who have gone through incredible abuse by family members. And when those things happen in the village, I don't know about other places, the first go-to is to cover up. And oftentimes it is the victim that is blamed. So sometimes bad things will happen to vulnerable people in the village that are often covered up in the name of family. When you have this weird uncle who has his way around young kids doing some random stuff, people always know. People always know in the village. But for some reason, there are certain unwritten codes that allow these people to keep on doing those bad things because they are quote unquote family. Their uncles, aunties, whatnot. That happens quite a bit in the village. And I'm not saying the village is dangerous. In fact, honestly speaking, of all the places I've lived in, the village is extremely safe. Very few of those things happen, but they do happen. So I don't want you to walk away thinking that the village is unsafe. No, it is not. In fact, I feel less safe when I'm in Long Beach compared to when I'm in the village. So this family excuse is often used to cover up really bad things. Things like the ones I've mentioned. Or when you have, in every family, there has to be some kind of firecracker. Oftentimes, multiple ones of those. So you have firecrackers who are really making people miserable. But the excuse is always, it's family. Just suck it up. It's family. Even when people are getting harmed. So for me, I made the decision to just cut off that stuff. And so while it's important to know who is related to me by blood, supposedly, because I can promise you, in any human society, if you just line up people and do DNA tests, the people you think are related to you may have no relationship to you in terms of blood at all. And personally, that does not interest me at all. In fact, I've always told people that when it comes to kids, for me, I don't want to hear anything to do with the DNA. I'm not even worried about how we live and all that, but I know how society works. Like for my kids, those are kids that from the first second they were both born right into my arms. They've known nothing other than myself and their mother. I cannot imagine a scenario where at some point my kid is told, this is not your mother, or this is not your father. I have no interest. So I tell people, for me, the ones that point and say, this is yours, I'll take it. I don't want to know anything. Don't ask me about DNA and all that stuff. Whatever I'm given, whatever they show me is my kid, that's mine. That's it. If I raise you, you're my kid, and I don't care if you're really blood. In fact, the only place where I would be interested in blood relations is when it comes to marital relations. For example, it's important for me to know that my child cannot marry your child because we are blood relations. That's all I care about. Now, after establishing the blood connection, beyond that, to me, when it comes to relationship in the village, it's more about how I act towards you and how you act towards me. And so if you're my uncle, you're my this, you're my that, that's good. But besides that, I want to look at, can you and I establish our own thing going on? Besides what we've inherited. And that also means that whatever burdens we had, our generations had, I don't want to inherit those. Because in the village, you'll find, especially villages that don't have too many people from other places, you'll find folks who have lived together for years. And within families, there's always going to be something. I don't want to inherit the problems my grandfather had with your great-grandmother, whatever they had. I'm not interested. What I'm interested in how you act towards me and how I act towards you. So if we are related by blood, that's wonderful, but that is not enough. Let's look at the kind of connection that you and I are going to establish. I want you to treat me in my own right, not based on what you knew about my father, my grandfather, all that. That is why I say I don't inherit relatives. Now, in the same breath, if we are related by blood and you are a person who is despicable in the way they act towards me, then that's it for me. In fact, there are people I even tell my parents, just because you're related to my parent does not mean you're related to me. And that's just how it may sound a little harsh, but that's one way I've managed to survive in the village. Because there's so many bad things that people excuse. Very poor behavior that will be excused in the village in the name of relationships. So if you're my cousin, if you're my uncle, you are my grandfather, that's good. But you have to have a mutually beneficial connection. Just be a reasonable human being. If you're being a terrible human being and you think I'm going to cut you slack because we are related, that doesn't fly with me. And that has allowed me to lead a very peaceful life in the village. And I share this because, trust me, I know people right now who moved back to the village, and some of them are thinking about leaving simply because of relatives. You may think it's a small thing, but I know plenty of people who are with me in the village right now, and they're thinking about going back to diaspora because the so-called relatives are making life very difficult for them. And so what works for me has been that, number one, I set the rules in my space. There is no day anybody will make me uncomfortable in my own house or in my own home. That's why I don't live at anybody's house. I live in my home. And if you don't play by my rules, you're out. So blood relations are not an excuse. It doesn't matter if you're my parent, if you're my sibling, if you're my child, it does not matter. So I don't inherit relatives. Like, it's good to know you're related to me by blood. That's good. That box checked. But then now let's look at how you and I connect. That actually ranks higher than the reported blood relations. Because other than that, you're going to find life very difficult when constantly you're excusing behaviors that make your life difficult. I am under no obligation to relate to anyone. And in the same breath too, the benefit of keeping that openness is that there are so many people that we have no cultural, no blood relations that are extremely wonderful in my life. I've made a lot of connections, people, especially through these online platforms, met so many people who don't speak like me, don't look like me, have never lived in places that I live, but the way we connect is supreme. Even though we're not related by blood, I feel that to me, those are my relatives. So yes, in the same way we make communities in diaspora based on people we connect with, I do that in the village. That's one of the things that I bring back from diaspora. Because most of us in diaspora don't have blood relations. And so the family we have there are folks we've just met. So I bring it here in the village. So whether or not you're related to me by blood doesn't matter. It's just how you and I connect that matters. I know that might be a little unconventional, but it's been my survival strategy. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.